The CEO of PBS sat there under oath and claimed that there were no drag queen videos that were posted to their website for kids to see. Then Marjorie Taylor Greene proceeded to bring out the receipts. And it was a thing of beauty. Let's get right into it. My name is Clayton Kearns with TrendingPolitics.com. Make sure to like this video. It helps us out so much in the algorithm. And subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Let's get right into it. Now, so the House Doge Committee was grilling the CEOs of PBS and NPR about, hey, why are we, the taxpayers, funding content that is clearly skewed left-wing? Why are we funding content that is teaching kids about transgender people, that is confusing children about what gender they are? And people like the PBS CEO was like, oh, that's not happening. It's not happening on our network. As you can imagine, that was a complete bold-faced lie. Let's get right into this video. It takes Marjorie Taylor Greene a second to build up to what she's about to do, but it's worth every second of it. And what is revealed here is downright appalling. Let's get into it.
The United States is $36 trillion in debt. In fiscal year 2024, the government spent over $1.8 trillion more than it took in. And in fiscal year 2025, the interest on our debt is expected to exceed $1 trillion. As we continue investigating waste, fraud, and abuse, and we can look no further than the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the LGBTQ indoctrination of our children, the systematic racism narrative, and the support for censorship being pushed by the heads of NPR and PBS are just several of the many abuses of taxpayer dollars. And if you are one of the select few who might support such content, you can personally support and fund it with your own money through private donations, because the reality is the United States of America is broke and can't afford it. And after all, PBS and NPR are already fundraising off of this committee hearing. The American people are closely following along today in this long-awaited hearing to hear the case for why Americans' hard-earned tax dollars should continue for public broadcasting. I think from what we have heard here today, the American people will not continue to allow such propaganda to be funded through the federal government with their hard-earned tax dollars.
Seriously, do you think that PBS should be funded by the American people? Because I certainly don't. So if you think that PBS should be defunded, type below, defund PBS. Why are we using our tax dollars to pay for their propaganda, their left-wing propaganda, their racism propaganda, saying that all white people are racist and that, all Republicans are racist? Why they tell kids, don't worry, children, there's more than two genders. Why are we allowed to do that? Why are we on the hook for that as a taxpayer? Absolute insanity. Now watch this.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting that we give over $500 million to no longer serves the public. It serves a narrow audience of wealthy, liberal elites who are out of touch with everyday Americans. Not only have the times changed and the American people who once needed these outlets can now access the news anywhere at any time, but the content that is being put out through these state-sponsored outlets is so radical, it is brainwashing the American people and, more significantly, American children with un-American, anti-family, pro-crime fake news. The American people do not support their taxpayer dollars going to NPR articles like, "How is sex determined? Scientists say it's complicated," which discusses how biological sex is not limited to male or female. Or another article about how stories on crime are rife with misinformation and racism. Or about how birds and trees are racist. Over a 7-month period, the Media Research Center discovered the PBS NewsHour gave over 90% of the airtime to the left on gender ideology stories, 90%. As mentioned earlier, PBS was the outlet that featured the child predator drag queen on the education show for kids ages 3 to 8 years old. And to clarify the record, because our witness, Ms. Kerger, lied under oath and said it wasn't featured on PBS. This show was aired on PBS on April 1st, 2021, and we will take a look at this video right now. We're using a TV today because our audio system is having problems. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
So, get your singing voices ready. And we're going to start with our hips. The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish.
Disgusting.
Swish, swish, swish. The shoulders on the drag queen go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
Absolutely disgusting, deplorable.
Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
This was shown to children.
Blah, 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 blah.
That is disgusting. I can't even watch this.
The mouth on the drag queen goes blah, 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 all through the town. So, get your singing voices.
The hips go swish, swish, swish.
Oh God, that's so disgusting.
The shoulders go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. That's repulsive. That's not what children ages 3 to 8 should ever be watching. A grown biological man posing as a woman. And by the way, Ms. Kerger, that was aired on April 1st, 2021. And then something happened. It wasn't an accident. And it wasn't just for a brief time that it was up. It was aired April 1st, and then somehow it expired May 24th. Later on, it was taken down. I wonder why. Wonder why that was taken down.
8 full weeks later, it was published in early May, got taken down, or early April, and got taken down in late May. The fact that children have seen that video is absolutely disgusting. And it is rock solid proof as to why PBS needs to be defunded. That's just one example. Confusing children is bad enough, but then lying about it under oath, according to what Marjorie Taylor Greene says, absolutely despicable.
Another egregious example includes back in 2010, PBS's Travis Smiley stated that Christians blow up people every single day. Haven't seen that ever happen in my life.
Can you imagine if you replaced the word Christian with any other religion out there? If that would have been allowed to be said?
And today, if you look on NPR's website, there is still zero mention of any negative coverage of any Democrat today. And trust us, there are more than plenty of examples to pull from. How about a member from this committee making fun of the governor of Texas for having a disability and living his life in a wheelchair, Ms. Marr?
So yeah, yesterday, or 2 days ago, Jasmine Crockett made fun of Texas Governor Abbott for being in a wheelchair. The man is disabled. Democrats laughed it up. It was one of the biggest stories online the other day. Nowhere to be found on PBS. Very interesting. But I bet you you'll find negative stories about Trump all the time. And so this was great that we got to, that the PBS CEO was exposed on such a grand scale in front of the world. We need to make sure this video gets out there because honestly, like this is not going to be shown on mainstream news networks. So please, please, please make sure to share this video, like, and as I said before, if you want to see PBS be defunded by the American taxpayer, then please comment below and say defund PBS. I'll talk to you guys next time.